When an infographic with a WHO logo did the rounds in 2020 regarding 7 of the biggest brain-damaging habits, it was quickly debunked by fact-checker sites. Unfortunately, though, the info still appears in Google searches on the topic. But is there some truth to this list? Are there actually habits damaging our brains? We're here to do the research and bring you the truth. If we find it and you're better off for it, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for more videos. Alright, let's take a look at these habits, shall we? Number 1. Not exposing yourself to expanding thought. When it comes to the brain, if you don't use it, you lose it. Your brain is designed to think, analyze, and assess, but like any muscle, it needs to be flexed. In a Harvard Health article, stimulating thoughts, challenging tasks, and new skills all help the brain to generate new cells, developing neurological plasticity, and building up a functional reserve that proves as a hedge against future cell loss. Number 2. You're not talking enough. Digital tech has taken away the need for face-to-face conversation, but science is finding out that social interactions, and in particular conversation, are important for brain health. Short, concise text interactions replacing emojis for facial expressions are dulling our brain's efficiency to carry on intellectual conversations. Elise Cacapolo, professor of neuropsychology at Columbia University, explains that when you're socializing, the blood circulates to different parts of your brain as you're listening and formulating responses. Harvard Health again weighs in on this one, mentioning the strong link between good social ties and a lower risk of dementia. And more on this in a minute. Number 3. Breathe in brain food. The brain needs pure, unadulterated fresh air. If you're not getting good quality air because of pollution, stuffy indoor settings, or you're just not breathing deeply enough, then you're starving your brain of what it needs to thrive. Remember, humans have survived weeks without food, days without water, but only minutes without oxygen. Sit up straight while working, learn some deep breathing exercises, and strengthen your diaphragm and get as much clean air into your lungs as possible. And Aluxers, can you grow your brain? You sure can, so stick around to find out how. Number 4. Isolation. Now on to how dementia and loneliness are linked. Loneliness is not linked to how many friends you have, it's about the quality of the human interactions and how they satisfy your sense of belonging. An ongoing feeling of loneliness can cause stress and depression that triggers inflammatory responses in the brain. A Rush University Medical Center study of 100 people over 80 years old connected a lack of social interactions with severe cognitive deterioration. Number 5. Too much salt. Sugar has been widely vilified, but salt is also having its moment of judgment for brain health. We can all accept that excess salt leads to high blood pressure, but if you think further than that, your chance of having a stroke is significantly increased if you have high blood pressure, and strokes are very damaging to the brain and can lead to speech, cognitive, and physical incapacity. So those extra shakes of salt are a habit you should quit for a healthy brain. Number 6. Loss of hearing. Losing your hearing doesn't directly affect a brain function, but if you can't hear something, then you could miss vital information. Don't believe us? Johns Hopkins University found that people who are hearing impaired have a 30 to 40% higher risk of falling victim to cognitive deterioration. Number 7. Quit smoking. You don't have to look further than a cigarette pack for a warning on the health risks of smoking, but you might not know that smoking can affect your brain negatively as well. Smoking damages your vascular system that brings blood to your brain, which increases the risk of a stroke. Tobacco contains a compound that causes the white blood cells in the central nervous system to attack healthy cells and cause neurological damage. Cigarettes lead to thinking and memory problems through hastening the thinning of the brain cortex. The University of California in San Francisco released research in 2010 that found smoking nearly doubled a person's chance of developing Alzheimer's. Number 8. Cut the fat. You are what you eat, and if you aren't putting in brain food, you won't get the best results. Study after study we found in our research listed off their results that all concluded that high-fat, low-nutrition diets lead to lower cognitive functioning. Here are some of the highlights. The Journal of Neurology study in 2012 of 6,000 people around 50 years old were studied over the course of 10 years. Those who were overweight had a 22% higher deterioration of their cognitive functions. The low-carb diet was examined by Tufts University researchers back in 2008. This is generally associated with a high fat and protein intake. 2 groups of women were studied, one group on low carb, the other on a balanced diet recommended by the American Diabetic Association. Interestingly, the low-carb diet participants performed worse on memory-based tasks. Number 9. Stop worrying. You got 86 billion brain cells, but worry ain't one. Health writer Linda Malone explains, prolonged periods of everyday stress increases cortisol levels in the brain, which causes our brain cells to lose synapses and make it more difficult to create and retrieve memories. Adding habits like meditation and relaxation to your life instead of defaulting to worry will help you to increase your intelligence and memory. And if you want to check out the world of meditation without having to shave your head and join a monastery, then Alux has got you covered. Our online course, Mind Mastery, can be completed from the comfort of your own home. Go to Alux.com/mindmastery and enroll now. Number 10. Not enough sunshine. Good old sunshine is linked directly to our brain. Not getting a daily dose of vitamin D can mean your brain isn't firing at all cylinders. We get vitamin D from sunshine, pure, unadulterated sunshine directly onto your skin. A prolonged lack of sunshine can cause permanent damage and is linked to cognitive decline. Older people, northern hemisphere dwellers, and people with more melanin who don't get a lot of time in the sun can boost their brain health with a daily vitamin D supplement. Number 11. Drinking too much. I think we all know that alcohol can lead to memory loss. In fact, a 2004 study in the Alcohol and Alcoholism Journal found that after a big night out, test subjects showed delayed recognition in memory even when blood alcohol levels were back to 0. However, it's a bit of a tricky line to walk because a study in The Lancet published by Dr. Nelson in 2002 connected a moderate amount of alcohol use to reducing the risk of dementia. Although moderate is an unspecified amount for the everyman to follow. Number 12. Forgetting to exercise could be a sign that you're not getting enough exercise because a lack of exercise is also linked to memory loss. Okay, it's not quite as simple as that. The Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences published a study that found that exercise can modify the size of your hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that forms memories. But it's never too late or too early to get in on this action and improve your brain health. Number 13. A high sugar diet. Sugar didn't skip the list, but not for the usual diabetes-linked reputation it typically has. High sugar diets elevate glucose in the bloodstream. This reduces the production of a brain chemical known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is the chemical our brain needs to form new memories and learn new things. No new memories or new lessons, and well, you'll remember how damaging that is if you take a stroll down memory lane to number 1 on our list. That is, if you can still remember it. Number 14. Multitasking. Look, we're not huge fans of multitasking here at Alux. We've long believed it's got no merit in productivity. But on top of that, multitasking is ruining your brain function. Stanford University did a study on multitasking and found that multitaskers scored lower on cognitive tasks than others. 2 of the major takeaways were that people who multitask are chronically distracted, and because they're initiating all parts of the brain at once, aren't as focused as those using the brain zones relevant to the task at hand. Multitaskers can't filter out irrelevant information as easily, and the worst finding is that it wastes more time and actually kills productivity. Number 15. A lack of sleep. Nothing degrades your brain function faster than a lack of sleep. Well, maybe except for lack of oxygen. Sleep deprivation affects the memory, and what's alarming is the American Center for Disease Control and Prevention say that 28% of US adults report frequent inefficient sleep. That's a lot of memory loss going on. Sleep isn't just quality though, it's also quantity. Dr. Nelson from the Lancet study explained that you could have someone who gets an adequate number of hours of sleep, but if you interrupt them as they're going into certain cycles, you can undercut their memory consolidation. And on that note, we have a question for you. What do you do that's damaging the health of your brain? We'd love to hear from you. And Aluxers, if you're learning something new here, we'd appreciate it if you'd hit that bell notification and, of course, subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, Aluxers. See you tomorrow.